Okay, welcome to Wales everybody, if you haven't been here before. I know some of you would have done the lakes. This is the first year that the Brecon has run, so you all are guinea pigs. There may be one or two hiccups, hopefully you don't see them, and it's nice and smooth for you. You've all got your maps, you probably had a good chance to look at them. The route that's marked on the map is still going ahead. There's no changes, so whatever your plans have been, stick with your plans, they're all good. One or two points where you may cross the river, we think it's still doable, but if you want to avoid them, there's a bridge on the first point, and on the second point you can just head a bit north and avoid the deep water. But as I say, I think it's fine. There are a few out of bounds areas on the map which you would have realised, mainly to stop you running up and down busy roads. There's only one other that's on a track, and that's as you're heading out on your way back to Van Finish, and there's just a track that CCW don't want you to go up. Any other route up there is fine, just not on that track. There is an event on Sunday which is the Brecon Beacons. It's a mountain biking event, and they've got some signage out, especially that you'll see close to checkpoint 2. Ignore it. They're green arrows, they're direction arrows, it's nothing to do with us. So if you're running along following an arrow thinking you must be in the right place, you may not be. Okay, we've got no signage out there, so please ignore the signage. And as I say, the route that's marked on here is a suggested route, and if you follow it you'll get round, but you are free to deviate from it so long as you don't go out of bounds. You must hit the checkpoints and the peaks in the correct order. Other than that, the route is up to you. Mandatory kit, you all know what the mandatory kit is, you've had a look at the list. We've taken waterproof trousers off, that was a late addition. We know people have, had to go out and buy them or whatever. We highly recommend you take them. But if you don't want to, if you haven't managed to get any, then fair enough. But we do highly recommend it. You will get wet today. Just makes your life a bit more comfortable. The country code, you're all walkers, runners, mountain goers, so you all know the country code. Please adhere to it, because these sorts of things can easily be shut down by either litter, gates being left open. There's a lot of stakeholders in this race, landowners, grazers, authorities, so please do the right thing. If you see litter there, even if it's not yours, it might have been a previous runner, please pick it up. Anyone that's looking at the course afterwards, National Trust, those sorts of people, if they see litter, they're going to assume it's us. So as we can be clean, pick up other people's, then that would be great. I really appreciate that. We're going to have bin bags at every feed station, and they will be trying to take rubbish off you. So if you've got a pocket full of trash, get rid of it at a feed station and carry on. Sport ident, everyone's got a chip like that on their wrist, yeah? Does everyone know how to use it? If not, every checkpoint and every peak will have one of these controls. You just take that off, you leave it on your wrist obviously, but you dip it in there and it will flash and it will give an audio beep. It doesn't matter how long you leave it in there, it won't affect your chip. All your chip's doing is picking up the details from this, and this is picking up the details from your chip. So we know you've been there. And your time is running from the moment you stick that in the start control. So don't think you've got to leave dead on 4 o'clock. If you're one of the back ones to come through us and dib in the start box, your time hasn't started until that beeps. But again, it doesn't stop until you beep in the finish. So when you come in here, don't think, oh, it's all over, and go and have a shower and everything before you come into the finish line. Go straight to the finish and dib in the box, and then you can go and have a shower. You're all long course, and you are obviously mindful of the long course peaks. On the way out, there are a couple of mandatory peaks that are short course peaks, but we want you to dib there too. They are on your route, so I don't see why you wouldn't be going past it. And they are the first one at Calm Picker, and then Trig 642 is also mandatory for you. It's marked on the map as mandatory. And the reason being is when you get to checkpoint 2, there is an option to short course. There is a cut-off time where it will be mandatory that you short course after midday, but if you want to short course because you're tired, having a bad day, whatever, then you can do that voluntarily. And if you hadn't have dibbed at those first two, you'd have a DNF for the short course. So that's why we put those two in there, so you can at least still finish the short course. We obviously want you to finish the long course, but if for whatever reason you can't, we want you to finish the short course. If the shit really hits the fan and you have to pull out, you've had enough, you're injured, whatever, there is a minibus that will shuttle you back to the start. But you need to pull out at a checkpoint, one of the mandatory 5 checkpoints. There'll be marshals there that will look after you. There's mountain rescue there with first aid stuff. They'll get you warm. They'll phone in for the minibus and that will come and collect you. One thing though, if you do pull out, we need to have this chip back immediately. So give it to a marshal at the checkpoint and they'll get it back to HQ. Otherwise, if you disappear with this, as far as we're concerned, as far as the timing system's concerned, you're still out on the course. Which will mean that, you know, at some hour, mountain rescue will have to go searching for you. And it's been done before, and we found someone in a B&B, we found someone's gone home and we phoned them and they've been at home. So please don't do that because it creates all sorts of headaches. The cut-off times I mentioned, there's one at midday at checkpoint 2. There's another one at checkpoint 5 on the way back of 1 o'clock. Really, if you want to be finishing in 24 hours, you want to be through there before midnight. But once we're past 1 o'clock, we can't really have people out that are going to come back in 26, 27 hours. Because obviously there's a lot of people trying to control this event. So you will be asked to bin it at checkpoint 5 if you're later than 1 o'clock. If you do wish, you know, I know a lot of training's gone into this, if you do want to continue, that's fine, but we'll have to take your chip from you and we'll take your number from you, and we can't offer any support for that last leg. Is everyone happy with that? Mm-hmm. Good stuff. The start is going to be just up there in front of the youth hostel lights where you see, and we're going to funnel you out through a gate at the far end. That's where someone's going to be standing with a control where you dib and you start. Those that want to run off like racing snakes, please get yourself to the front, because the first section is quite, well, it's very narrow. You won't be able to overtake anyone. So those that plan to walk and have a doddle, put yourself towards the back so you're not holding up anyone that's desperate to get past. The first half a K or so is going to be like that. Then you'll come across a field where you can overtake a little bit, and then it's going into a single track again. And then once you're out on the road, obviously do what you like and up onto the mountain. There'll be someone leading you because it's very difficult to navigate that section, and we've got permissions to go across a couple of fields, which the map isn't marked as such. So that'll be led out, and it'll effectively be a big snake winding its way up to the open hillside, and off you go. The feed stations, they're going to be stocked with food. There's a couple of hot feed stations, number 3 and number 5. Number 5 you'll have a voucher given to use at the food wagon there. Number 3 you'll just go and fill your boots with whatever they've got. There's energy stuff, there's fruit, all sorts of stuff at various different checkpoints. This is a self-supported event, so you should be carrying your own stuff. Use the feed stations to supplement what you're carrying anyway. There'll be water, ample water. We've got powder if you want to put any electrolytes, energy stuff in there as well. And the drop bag option, I don't know if all of you have taken it, some of you certainly have. Your drop bags will be at checkpoint 3. There's a building, you can go in, you can get yourself fed, you can get changed, you can warm up, dry off, whatever you want to do. Spend an hour there, spend 2 minutes, it doesn't matter. But the option is there if you want it. If you do decide to switch to the short course at checkpoint 2, or you have to because you've missed the cut-off time, they'll just write short on your number. Apart from that, nothing will change, other than on your way back you need to be looking at the short course peaks rather than the long course peaks. So Corn D, for instance, that's a short course peak, you'll have to do that, whereas on the long course that is optional. The same as spot height 754 just before you start coming down the hill. And then we get to the finish. Obviously I've said dib as soon as you can. You'll get your medal. And then if you want to hang around, that would be great. You know, go and get a shower. All the facilities in the youth hostel we can use. So get showered, get cleaned up, and then come and hang about here. Have a couple of beers. There's a bar in there. There's a restaurant. Food will be served. And then give your fellow competitors a bit of support when they're coming across the line.
What time's the bar open till?
The bar will open until they say there's not enough people here, let's close it. It will be open till at least midnight. I want to push it later. I want a party in here. And this will be your communal area. So, you know, just gather up in here, keep warm, have some beers, and have fun. We've got a mountain rescue guy in here. Have you got any things you want to add?
No.
Good.
No mountain rescue comments.
Okay, so if in 10 minutes you can start congregating this side of the youth hostel by the big square window that looks into the restaurant, we'll start shuttling you through to the start. Good luck everyone.
Thank you.
Have fun.